And here in the top right-hand corner of the map, Daybreak, we have our purple Terran player from NsHoSeo, winner of the last game, trying to give NsHoSeo the advantage. It is Jockji. And his opponent here in the lower left-hand corner from Team Liquid, our red Zerg player trying to swing things back in their favor, it's NsHoSeo.
Now, I know I'm new here to the IPL studio, so I want to say that ZVT is my favorite matchup.
Okay, all right, good stuff.
I just looked at the camera in earnest so they could see actually how honest I was, and then I realized they can't see me. So.
I know. It's
but
but they
really,
felt
ZVT.
it. They felt it. They could hear it. It resonated in their soul.
I had to say it to make up for the fact the camera wasn't on. But really, guys, I love ZVT.
ZVT can be my favorite matchup. And the reason I say that is because I'm a sucker for battles like you see on the back of the StarCraft 2 box, you know? I am.
You open that panel, and it's just like tons of AoE things.
Exactly.
Because they always look the coolest.
Yeah. So we saw a match between Slivko and Thorzane last week at the EU qualifiers for the GOM World Championship. And there was a ridiculous battle at the end of Cloud Kingdom. You absolutely have to go watch the VOD if you haven't seen it yet, where Slivko has this enormous Broodlord Infestor Corruptor army. Thorzane sitting back. He has like a contingent of 16 Marines off to the side doing damage, and he comes back with 6 Ghosts, EMPs all the Infestors, flanks with the Vikings, comes back in with 4 Seeker Missiles that decimates all the Corruptors. One of the coolest battles I've seen in StarCraft 2. That's the TVZ that I love.
Oh, yeah. When you get flanking, I mean, that just adds a whole other element too, which if I remember right, that's what those Seeker Missiles, it was like an awesome flank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the fun kind of TVZ. There are some TVZs that can devolve into, well, a little bit more stagnant battles, but those are the ones that I like the best.
Well, you know, honestly, that's the way that StarCraft is eventually going to arrive at, where Zergs are just incredibly good at attacking from every angle. And I think when Heart of the Swarm eventually rolls around, really hope that they're going to bring that element in, because right now, a lot of Zergs really do, maybe they split their army into 2 pieces, but they still just grab everything in AWalk for the most part, and then and then you control group your Infestors, because those you want to manually control, you know? But in reality, it's best to just bring everything in from every angle if you're, especially if you're a Zerg player. So as for now, though, we've got NsHoSeo versus Jockji here. NsHoSeo getting a little bit of scout and harass off on Jockji, who did opt to go for a command, very, very quick command center, following it up with a barracks into a refinery just finishing up now. Of course, that 30-second build time is just so much faster than the 65 on the barracks. So, barracks is, though, nearing completion here, and just continuing to pump out SCVs. On the Zerg side of the board, NsHoSeo, he's got his extractor finishing, his spawning pool nearing completion as well. He's going to have just enough minerals to start up 2 queens when that pool is done. Yeah, and NsHoSeo's showing us more of the Hyun style play. You know, a lot of foreign Zerg players are still opting to go for the 4-queen build and stuff like that, although a few more are starting to incorporate gas back into their initial openings. But this is the way that Hyun likes to start things off. Always gets gas, always goes for a 6-minute hatch, followed up by a Roach Farm with a small Roach contingent, and then moves into Baneling Nest, Evolution Chambers, Baneling Nest, and Lair afterwards in that order. So I've cast so many Hyun CVTs over the past like 3 months that we know his build down to the second. So, but we'll see here. Of course, referencing Hyun Fight Club there.
Oh yes, Hyun Fight Club, of course. So, which if you guys didn't see the match yesterday, you need to go watch that. He actually competed against the reigning GSL Code S champion Startail Life in his weakest matchup, ZVZ, and won a thrilling 9-game set. Game 9 was really just a great game to cap off the whole night.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So here, NsHoSeo got his work cut out for him trying to take down Jockji, using a lot of Hyun openings as you were discussing. Now, I am curious to see 530s when you start to see second gases for a lot of plays, but he has pulled off gas entirely. So, I mean, a quick third is definitely a possibility. Otherwise, I mean, just lots of drones, macro hatches. I'm waiting to see like basically either an evolution chamber from here, a third, or the possibility of a Roach Warren. Dongrai Gu, for example, does like to get Roaches in order to secure his third. He makes 4 to 6 Roaches typically just to work against those early game Hellions. But NsHoSeo's going to play it nice and greedy, just how I like to play Zerg actually, and grab that quick third with no units on the field.
That's right. For those out there who may not know, what is your history in actually playing StarCraft then? So you're a Zerg player.
At this point, yeah.
Yes.
I played the original StarCraft in Brood War, and was a Protoss player.
Okay.
Was just too much of a fan of Dragoons. Absolutely love them. And Shuttles with Reavers was like just such fun. It was like something you could just never completely master when you're only 12 years old.
So now you're a trader, and you don't play Protoss anymore.
Well, I'm actually working on my Protoss. So I
Okay,
got
good.
a second copy of StarCraft when Toys R Us had it for $10 and made a Protoss account. And
Okay.
I'm now Diamond in Protoss, so I'm getting there, man.
Okay. But you're primarily Zerg.
I can't be as good with Protoss, so yeah, I'm a trader in my heart. Deep in my heart, I'm actually a corrupt soul.
That's right. And you as Master Zerg player, you're better at StarCraft than I am, so congratulations.
Well,
so there you go. But
only with both hands. I don't know if you see Marine King Prime lately. Doing the A-walk.
Yeah.
I actually just caught that VOD like a week ago. I know it was played like 6 months ago, but my jaw was kind of just laying on the floor the entire time. We'll see if Xenio's jaw hits the floor right now as these Hellions come in, but actually he's just going to turn around, not even bother harassing that third. I don't know if Xenio did manage to see them. He saw them at the Xel'Naga Tower, but doesn't know their location at this moment.
No, not yet, but he does have Queen shifted over to hopefully help out, just the hatch does finish up. We see he's going over to Devil Evolution Chamber and into a Baneling Nest at the same time. Excuse me, so powering ahead with his tech, making sure everything's in place. Layer tech going to come up shortly after that. And already has Spore Crawlers in place to deal with the eventual Banshees that are coming out. Jockey's been playing this very standard, opening up with Banshees, going into a third command center, and moving into double engineering bay triple barracks right afterwards. So everything is pretty darn normal moving into eventual biomech composition for our Terran player Jockey.
Now, what's your thoughts here, Kevin, on the Banshee Hellion play? I was actually talking with Sasquatch the other day about this, and he said, just two-base Muta. Two-base Muta, it's like the easiest thing in the world to counter. But, you know, Xenio going for that quick third, he could be in a little bit more trouble now. Banshee Hellion is not the easiest thing to deal with. I know firsthand, especially on Daybreak, if you don't go for that build.
Yeah, and this Banshee actually, without Cloak, sneaks in and steals a few kills. Yeah. But, no, you know, two-base Muta is cool, but it sets you back in a lot of ways, too. I mean, Hyun's preferred method of dealing with that, which I've really enjoyed and which I think a lot of Zerg players should pick up on, is just to kind of just say, okay, whatever, you may do a little bit of damage, but it's not going to matter because I'm going to get so much production, and I'm going to hit you with this mid-game Roach attack, about 8 Roaches at about the 9.5 minute mark, that you're either forced to sit back and defend while I continue to macro, and it really limits the availability of your harassment. And I think that's just fantastic.
Oh, that's a great point. Inject the Novocaine and deal with the pain.
Yes, exactly, basically. So, you know, so I mean, Muta builds can certainly be effective. We've seen players like Life. I know we were talking about him a lot yesterday. He can certainly throw in Mutas every now and again. Sasquatch obviously knows much more about the game than I do, but I still think that it's... I've seen it used to success more often in our own games where players play like Hyun and decide to just power through it and then just crush their opponent as the game goes on. And just work on denying third and fourth bases.
Yeah, Xenio is doing a pretty good job of that. I mean, look at his production tab right now. He's got absolutely... that tab is almost out to the center of the scoreboard. Spire, 1-1 Overlord speed, centrifugal hooks, his +2 armor now starting up, making some links, making Overseer, another hatchery as well. That macro hatch really going to allow him to ramp up the ling production. And I love, can I just... Okay, let me say it one more time. I love when I see players go for both upgrades for their Zerglings and a Spire. It's so rare to see anymore. It seems like everybody just goes for double Evo if they're going Infestor. They really want to try to make that synergy work together. But the reality is that Lings are an extremely powerful unit when you invest into the upgrades for them. And here, we're going to see the true power of what Xenio's able to do with these Zerglings and Mutas. You know, it cuts into the Muta count a little, but your Lings are just so good. So if you could split them, it works.
So it's safe to say you're kind of a fan of that.
Yeah.
So, kind of, a little bit. All right.
Only.
All right. Okay, possibly.
Talked about it for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. So.
All right.
I have to shut this
New
guy up
caster.
off camera.
Deal with it.
So.
I'm sorry.
So let's see here. We have, you know, I think that's 2 macro hatches now. Yeah, 2 macro hatches coming up. Xenio is going to be overproducing on 4 bases here momentarily when this next hatchery finishes up. At the same time, Josh's starting to feel a little bit more confident moving out on the map. We've seen a lot of TVZs like this, and this is a little bit more boring, admittedly, just because it's a long build-up time, 15-minute no rush, that
Daybreak.
sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Daybreak. Don't do a lot of damage until you start moving on later. With the 13 Mutas that are coming up, usually a lot of players that have been incorporating in Mutas, they make a small selection of them to try and get out there and do some damage or pin opponents inside of their bases. But this is a very large amount. I mean, this is moving into almost a primarily Muta composition here.
This is a beautiful maneuver position for Xenio, though, if he can make it work. It's really flankable. These Marines Gonna get easily cleaned up after a surround from some Banlings. The Muta's coming in as well. Might pick off the Mutalisk. Very, very low on hit points. More Marines coming forward now. The DPS on these units going to make things very frightening, but the Marines are out of the range of the siege tanks, but can easily fall back, which is why NsHoSeo, guys, is not diving in to save the hatchery. Now he's going to be coming in, but I don't think he has enough units. Banling's going to try to connect, doing a good job on the creep, but ultimately, no. Too many Marines. Mutas can't come in and clean up the rest, and NsHoSeo does not save the hatchery, loses a lot of Banlings as well in the process.
Okay, so let's see here as, not sure where those Overlords are going. Maybe just want to fake out his opponent there for a second with Pneumatized Carapace done, but of course no Ventral Sacks, so we're not going to have any sort of a threat of dropping. NsHoSeo now going to try and recapture this force, and he actually does surround the units before the tanks are able to siege up. 2 more tanks from the back have joined, but they're not sieged up at all. Banelings, not sure why they were coming in that late, as Jakshi easily finishes those off before taking any damage from them.
One of the classic errors of playing Zerg when you just, oh, your Banelings were a little bit slower because they weren't on the creep. NsHoSeo now, you know, he traded Lings essentially there for tanks, which is very, very nice, but now forced to engage against these Marines, doing a nice job of keeping those Queens alive with those transfuses. Forced to engage against the entire army. Where is Banlings? He just can't seem to connect them with the Marines. Overall, going to be forced to fall back once again. The supply's still so tight here, though, Kevin.
That's right, and it was a nice job from NsHoSeo to at least find a little bit of equity because he occupied these Marines for so long with transfusions that he was able to get some of his units in position. Unfortunately, at the end, because he wasn't able to engage with any of his Banlings, it's not going to matter, though, and Jakshi's going to continue rolling forward, and he really just, I mean, that is a pretty decent force. And now when you start actually trapping these facilities that are actually there for tech, it becomes a lot more difficult. The Banelings getting picked off before they can do anything, and Jakshi just continuing to reinforce.
Oh, losing a couple of Mutas and Marines there as well, not engaging. The Muta Club is getting very, very large for NsHoSeo, but these Marines with 2-2 and 3-3 on the way are just too powerful for these 0-0, I do believe, Mutalisk to contend with them. And, I mean, that's going to spell the story of this game, is that Jakshi's Marines are just too powerful, not enough Banlings, and throwing a lot of them away, in fact, in lackluster engagements.
Layer Tech is on the low ground over at the Natural. Oh, man, these Mutas just walking into a meat grinder there. The Marines able to dispatch those very quickly. The advantage is, of course, this provides this hatchery a little bit more hit points, makes it a little less susceptible to drops inside of the main, but you do expose it to the frontal attack, and if Layer Tech goes down right now, especially with the Spire just to the side of it, it would completely reset the plans for NsHoSeo.
One of the things is the Spire falls, the Layer's going to fall as well. NsHoSeo's upgrades were not in sync, so he had a really big engagement where he had +2 Carapace, but not +2 attack. Yep. And it's very detrimental to not have things synchronized up because you don't have good timings for yourself.
Yeah, and there's GG, so NsHoSeo going down. Jakshi's taking a second game in a row now, and that actually gives NsHoSeo a bit of an advantage. So well done by Jakshi. Yeah,
definitely extremely well played. And now he's going to be facing off against Liquid, making another pick here as to who they think can take him down.
And it's a Terran player, the one and only Liquid Tasia, the all-star for Team Liquid and Team Arena Challenge 3, the man who won an insane number of games and almost thrust Team Liquid to victory just by himself there in the finals, all killing IM in the first best of 9, then coming back and taking wins in the second best of 9 too. So Tasia
will be remembered forever.
yes, exactly. That run was just unbelievable. So looks like he has chosen Entomb Valley as his map of choice. We are going to run to a commercial break. We want to let you guys know once again that we are giving away an Astro A50 headset on IGN.com/IPL giveaways. It's so good. It's so good. Just look at it. Yeah, go to that link up there, IGN.com/IPL giveaways, where we're going to be giving away 12 things over the next few weeks leading up into 2013. So you can see the dates of all of those giveaways on there. We haven't revealed what prizes we're giving away yet for all of those, but you'll certainly want to keep following that page as we move along.
It's free stuff, man.
Yeah. Who just love free stuff?
I saw the other day this woman who was like on TV. She won like $12 million in prizes in the last year because she just entered so many contests and giveaways. Yeah.
That's
impressive. She had like 9 cars, a bunch of them were like classics and stuff.
Wow. That's remarkable.
How sweet would it be if it was $12 million in gaming equipment?
Yeah.
Get started here at IPL, IPL.com/giveaways.
Who doesn't like free stuff? Well, maybe Scrooge McDuck, because I think he gets validated by having to pay for things. I don't know. That's part of his ego.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, Scrooge McDuck is just a weird guy. All right, guys, we're going to run to a commercial break, and when we get back, it's time for game number 4. It's Tasia versus Jakshi. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.